Do you remember this jingle? Join us as we travel back in time to revisit these 10 vintage beer brands that are sadly missed. Do these popular beers no longer exist? Are any still available? Let's find out. 1. Rheingold beer. Ever heard of "My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer"? Many older New Yorkers over 50 fondly remember Rheingold beer, famous for its annual Miss Rheingold contest. Founded by Samuel Liebmann, a member of a German-Jewish family, in 1840 in Ludwigsburg, Germany, the brand later moved to Brooklyn in 1850, where they continued their tradition of brewing beer. Its popularity soared in New York due to clever marketing, including the Miss Rheingold competition. Designed to sell Rheingold beer, it did just that and more, becoming an annual event with everyone voting for their favorite. Rheingold beer was very popular among Mets fans because it even became the Mets' official domestic beer sponsor on the radio. For 30 years, Rheingold beer was the top choice in the New York area, but in 1976, it shut down. Another brewer bought the name, and occasionally, you might still see it around today. Did this bring back memories? Share with us. 2. Olympia beer. Did you remember seeing Olympia beer in our fridge back in the 1960s when you were a kid? In the United States, light lager-type beers have always been popular, and different regions have their favorites. Olympia beer was a favorite in Washington State for much of the 20th century. Before Seattle became known for fancy coffee and craft beer, it was just a regular working-class place where people enjoyed hanging out with friends while drinking Olympia beer. Founded by German immigrant Leopold Friedrich Schmidt in 1896, Olympia's catchphrase, "It's the water," highlighted its quality. What made this popular beer great was its price. You could often find it for under $5 a case at grocery stores. Production ceased in Tumwater in 2003 when Pabst Brewing Company took over and moved operations to California. In January 2021, Pabst Brewing ceased production of Olympia beer due to declining demand, making it a discontinued beer that no longer exists. 3. Falstaff, the Dad's beer. Remember this beer from the 60s? Falstaff used to be a major brewery in St. Louis, similar to Budweiser. Established in 1840, by 1960, they ranked as the third most popular brand in the U.S., with production peaking at 7 million barrels in 1966. They even sponsored baseball broadcasts for the Cardinals in the 1970s. Production ceased altogether in 2005. Does anyone else miss it or have any good memories? Let's not forget about the bottle caps with a rebus puzzle on them. They were the best. 4. Hamm's beer. Hamm's beer, first brewed in Minnesota in 1865, is a classic American favorite. It's made with pure water, barley malt, grain, and hops. They say it's born in the land of sky blue waters. It's a smooth lager that's easy to drink, affordable, and refreshing, especially on a hot summer day. Who else enjoyed the funny Hamm's beer commercials? Do you remember the catchy jingle? Let's not forget their mascot, the Hamm's Bear, which was famous for its ads. The Hamm's Bear was a cartoon character featured in TV and print ads for the beer. Although this beer is not considered one that no longer exists, it still deserves to be on the list of those we miss and have good memories of. It is now manufactured and distributed by Molson Coors Beverage Company. Despite facing some challenges and changes in ownership, it is still enjoyed by many consumers, and you may still find it in some places. Who else has good memories of this famous beer? Share your stories with us in the comments below. Before we continue, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. 5. Stroh's Beer, another vintage beer that deserves to be on the list of those we miss and have good memories of. Stroh's used to boast about their beers being fire brewed because they heated the brew kettle with a direct flame source. The Stroh Brewing Company was established in 1775 in Germany by Johann Peter Stroh. He moved to the USA in 1850 and set up his own brewery in Detroit. His son, Bernhard Stroh Jr., expanded the business, winning awards and changing the name to Stroh Brewing Company. Some even claim this beer had a rich, deep taste unlike any other and was great with Detroit-style pizza. Well, during Prohibition, they diversified their products to survive. After numerous changes, the company was sold to Miller and Pabst Brewing Companies in 1999. Now owned by Pabst, Stroh still brews beer, and in 2016, they resumed brewing in Detroit. Hey, do you guys remember Alex, the mascot? 6. Schmidt's. Schmidt's Beer, created by Jacob Schmidt, was a prominent brewery in the late 19th and early 20th centuries in the United States. Jacob Schmidt, a German immigrant, founded the brewery in 1855 in St. Paul, Minnesota. The brewery thrived and gained a reputation for the quality of its beers, including the famous Schmidt's City Club beer. However, after Jacob Schmidt's death, the brewery underwent several changes in ownership and faced challenges, eventually closing in 2002. The Schmidt's Beer brand is still remembered because of the great artwork that beer can collectors loved. 7. Pete's Wicked Ale. Pete's Wicked Ale, a nostalgic beer for many, was popularized in the late 80s and was known for its distinct taste. Despite being a favorite among Gen X, it disappeared from shelves in 2011. Originally crafted by a home brewer turned beer enthusiast in 1986, Pete's Wicked was one of the earliest and most beloved craft beers. It reached the height of its popularity in the late 90s, becoming the nation's second most popular microbrew after Sam Adams. However, changes to the formula in 2000 led to its decline, with the original brewer considering the brand dead. Despite nostalgic feelings, Pete's Wicked stopped production in 2011. 8. Schaefer. Schaefer is the beer to have when you're having more than one. Do you guys remember? Schaefer beer is an old brand that many beer lovers remember fondly. Established in 1842, the F&M Schaefer Brewing Company quickly became well known for its great-tasting beers. For many years, Schaefer beer was a favorite at parties and events all over the United States. In both the 1950s and 1970s, it was one of the top-selling beers in the country, even reaching 5th place at one point. The brewery went through some changes over the years. Pabst now has the license for Schaefer, and they still make a version of it today, although it's a bit different from the original. 9. Meister Brau. Have you heard of Meister Brau? It was a famous beer from Chicago, brewed from 1891 to the early 70s. It was so popular that it sponsored many of the city's sports teams like the White Sox, Blackhawks, and Bears. But even though it was loved in Chicago, it never got as famous in other places. Eventually, Miller bought Meister Brau, but they changed its name to Miller Lite. While it's still the official beer of the White Sox, some people miss the taste of the original Meister Brau. Have you ever tried it? 10. Red, White, and Blue, our final vintage beer on the list. Red, White, and Blue was the favored beer of many. In the Midwest, it was a popular choice for Independence Day celebrations, prized for its light and easy-drinking lager, as well as its affordability. Launched on July 4, 1899, it became a budget-friendly option for holiday gatherings. While the exact date of its discontinuation is uncertain, it was still available in the 1990s. Although briefly reintroduced as a draft beer in 2018, by the Pabst Milwaukee Brewery and Tap Room. Its revival was short-lived due to the closure of the tavern in 2020. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and let us know which other video you want to see here.